Outside number 10 Downing Street, a tribute to the woman whose legacy continues to divide the country she led for 11 years.
I was deeply saddened, actually. I know she was a figure who was controversial, to say the least, but she's undoubtedly one of the greatest Britons of the last century.
As the former Prime Minister's body was taken from London's Ritz Hotel, supporters gathered outside her home in the wealthy suburb of Belgravia, leaving tributes to the woman who became known across the world as the Iron Lady. But in other parts of Britain, the mood was less of a sombre one.
It's a celebration around the world. Millions of people know she started a legacy, and that legacy was turning over public services and starting the greed for the bankers.
That woman made my youth a misery. I think that she was to blame for most of the ills in society.
This was one of Margaret Thatcher's last public appearances. In recent years, she was rarely seen in public because of health problems. Margaret Hilda Thatcher became Prime Minister in 1979.
Where there is discord, may we bring harmony. Where there is error, may we bring truth. Where there is doubt, may we bring faith. And where there is despair, may we bring hope.
She promised economic change, but progress of what was dubbed Thatcherism was slow. Under pressure to alter course, she famously refused.
The ladies not for turning.
For many of Britain's working class, her legacy will always be associated with the 1983 coal miners' strike.
It is the miners' strike in the mid-80s, which I think began to define her then, and with the passage of time will define her completely as the divisive figure that she was. It did seem as if one half of Britain was taking up arms against another half of Britain. She would say that it was a necessary battle.
Strikers showed their defiance.
In the coalfields of Yorkshire 30 years on, the miners still haven't forgotten.
You're not supposed to speak ill of the dead, but from the phone calls I've had this morning, I would imagine there'd be quite a lot of people in the mining communities who'll not be shedding a tear today. They'll be raising a drink and toasting a passing and saying good riddance.
On the world stage, Mrs. Thatcher wooed and bullied in equal measure and became known for her refusal to compromise in world affairs. Britain's victory in the 1982 Falklands War led to her Conservative Party winning an even bigger parliamentary majority in the following year's election.
The white flag is flying over Stanley.
The way she fought that war, the decisiveness, seemed to work as a sort of metaphor for what she could do for the economy at home. She'd beaten the Argentines in the South Atlantic, now she's going to beat unemployment and the economies at home.
At the height of the Cold War, she courted both the Soviet and American leaders. On other popular global struggles, Thatcher will be remembered for refusing to impose sanctions on the Nationalist Party regime in South Africa. In October 1984, she became a target for the Irish Republican Army when a hotel she was staying in was bombed by the IRA. But some think she's been harshly judged.
She was no friend of apartheid at all. She was telling South Africans the whole time that this cannot last, not so much on moral grounds, but on sort of economic grounds. This is no way to run an economy. You cannot do this. You have got to change.
Despite winning a third term, Thatcher's controversial policies lost her support not just in the country, but within her own party. In November 1990, she resigned and left Downing Street for the last time.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're leaving Downing Street for the last time after 11.5 wonderful years.
The government announced it will hold a ceremonial funeral with full military honours for the woman whose name continues to invite praise and criticism in equal measure. Khadija, Margardie, Al Jazeera.